Hello students, welcome to Read MedPrep Academy channel. Today in Principles of Ecology Part 3, we shall discuss about the ecological factor, biotic factors. The interactions among the living organisms such as plants and animals are called biotic factors, which may cause marked effects upon vegetation. The effects may be direct and indirect and modifies the environment. The plants mostly which lives together in a community and influence one another. Similarly, animals in association with plants also affect the plant life in one or several ways. The different interactions among them can be classified into positive interactions and negative interactions. Positive interactions, when one or both the participating species are benefited, it is a positive interaction. Example, mutualism and commensalism. Mutualism is an interaction between two species of organisms in which both are benefited from the obligate association. Example 1, the nitrogen fixation. Rhizobium, which is a bacteria, forms nodules in the roots of leguminous plants and lives symbiotically with the leguminous plants. The rhizobium obtains food from the leguminous plant and in turn fixes atmospheric nitrogen into nitrate, making it available to the host plants. Here in this image you can see a nodulated legume plant root with bacteria. Multiple nodules are present. When you examine these nodules under the microscope, we can see the rhizobium bacteria inside. Example 2, the water fern Azolla and the nitrogen fixing cyanobacterium Anabaena. You can see in this image. The Anabaena azollae, the leaf of Azolla, when you examine, you can see a cavity on the dorsal side, and this leaf cavity will contain large number of cyanobacterium Anabaena. They both live symbiotically. Example 3. Anabaena is present in the corollite roots of Cycas or Gymnosperm. In this, the cyanobacterium is formed by the Hormogonia inhibiting factor, results in the entry into the corollite root through chemotaxis. The Hormogonia releasing factor is present, which signals to Hormogonia, and this is transferred to the nitrogen fixing heterocyst. The transition to the nitrogen fixing heterocyst results in the fixation of nitrogen in the roots, and there is a permanent symbiosis between the cyanobacterium and the roots of Cycas. Example 4, the cyanobacterium nostoc found in the thalite body of Anthoceros, which is a bryophyte. Here you can see in this image the nostoc thallus structure that is present, and the right side you can see the nostoc. Example 5, the wasps present in the fruits of fig. Number 6, the lichen is a mutual association of an algae and a fungus. Lichens are a sandwich of fungi and algae. The fungus species attaches itself to the log, rock or brick wall and absorbs nutrients from the environment. The algae in its turn uses the nutrients absorbed by the fungus and the carbon dioxide produced to photosynthesize. Example 6, the roots of terrestrial plants and fungal hyphae mycorrhiza. Here you can see a rhizosphere where there is the narrow zone of soil surrounding the living roots, and a hyposphere, which is the soil zone influenced by arbuscular mycorrhizae fungi. And these two together join to form the mycorrhizosphere, which is the soil influenced by both roots and the mycorrhizal fungi. What is commensalism? It is an interaction between two organisms in which one is benefited and the other is neither benefited nor harmed. The species that derives benefit is called the commensal, while the other species is called the host. The common examples of commensalism are epiphytes. Epiphytes are plants which are found growing on other plants without harming them, and these plants are called epiphytes. They are commonly found in the tropical rainforest. You can see in the image an epiphyte plant growing on the tree trunk of another plant. The epiphytic higher plant like the orchid gets its nutrients and water from the atmosphere with the help of their hygroscopic roots, which contain special type of spongy tissue called velamen. So it prepares its own food and does not depend on the host. They use the host plant only for support and does not harm it in any way. Here you can see the epiphyte plant on the left side, where it has the leaves present on the supporting plant fixed by the clinging roots, and it has the aerial absorbing roots which are necessary for absorption of nutrients and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. On the right side image you can see the root tip. Above the root tip you can see the velamen tissue. Many orchids, ferns, lianas, hanging mosses, peperomia, money plant and usnea, which is a lichen, are some of the examples of epiphytes. In the image on the left side you can see the epiphytic orchids growing on the tree. On the right side you can see the epiphytic ferns. On the left side you can see the epiphytic lianas. And on the right side upper image you can see the hanging mosses. On the left side below you can see the peperomia with its flowers. On the right side below image you can see the money plant growing on the trunk of another tree. Spanish moss, Tillandsia, grows on the bark of oak and pine trees. Here you can see the forest full of Spanish moss growing on the bark of the trees. What is proto-cooperation? An interaction between organisms of different species in which both organisms benefit but neither is dependent on the relationship. Example, soil bacteria, fungi and plants growing in the soil. Now let us move on to the negative interactions. When one of the interacting species is benefited and the other species is harmed, it is called negative interaction. Examples, predation, parasitism, competition and amensalism. What is predation? It is an interaction between two species, one of which captures, kills and eats up the other. The species which kills is called a predator and the species which is killed is called a prey. The predator is benefited while the prey is harmed. Examples, a number of plants like Drosera, called the sundew plant, Nepenthes, which is a pitcher plant, Dianae, it's a Venus flytrap, Articularia, bladderwort, and Sarracenia are predators which consume insects and other small animals for their food as a source of nitrogen. They are also called as insectivorous plants. Here you can see on the left image the insects trapped in the leaves of Drosera, sundew plant. On the right side you can see the pitcher plant with the lamina and a tendril. Having a pitcher traps the insects with a lid, and the insect trapped is digested by the fluid that is present in the pitcher. Here you can see Dianae, which is a Venus flytrap, where it has a tissue or organ which can trap the insect. The insect, once it is trapped, the leaves close together and captures the insect and digests it. Here you can see the insectivorous plant Articularia. On the image you can see the natural form of the plant. It has bladders. Each bladder, when you examine, it has a sensitive hair and a valve which opens to trap the insect, and the bladder consists of the capsule wall and absorptive hairs which secretes and digests the insects and the insect larva. Sarracenia, which is an insectivorous plant. Here in this image you can see the operculum, which is above the pitcher tube, and it has a mouth and a periostome where the insect is trapped and digested. Many herbivores are predators. Cattle, camels, goats, etc. frequently browse on the tender shoots of herbs, shrubs and trees. Generally, annuals suffer more than the perennials. Grazing and browsing may cause remarkable changes in the vegetation. Nearly 25% of all insects are known as phytophagous because they feed on the plant sap and other parts of the plant. In the image below on the left side, you can see an insect absorbing the plant sap. On the right side, you can see the insect larvae feeding on the surface of the leaf. Many defense mechanisms are evolved to avoid their predations by plants. Example, Calotropis produces highly poisonous cardiac glycosides. Tobacco produces nicotine. Coffee plants produce caffeine. Cinchona plant produces quinine. Thorns of bougainvillea, you can see on the right upper image. Spines of opuntia, the middle image. And the latex of cacti, which is present in the lower image, you can see on the cut ends, the latex is secreted. These protect them from the predators. What is parasitism? It is an interaction between two different species in which the smaller partner or the parasite obtains food from the larger partner, the host or plant. So the parasitic species is benefited while the host species is harmed. Based on the host-parasite relationship, parasitism is classified into two types: holoparasite and hemiparasite. Holoparasites are organisms which are dependent upon the host plants for their entire nutrition. They are also called total parasites. Examples: Cuscuta is a total stem parasite of the host plant, Acacia, Duranta, and many other plants. Cuscuta even gets flower inducing hormone from its host plant. Balanophora, Orobanchi, and Rafflesia are the total root parasites found in higher plants. What are hemiparasites? The organisms which derive only water and minerals from their host plant while synthesizing their own food by photosynthesis are called hemiparasites. They are also called partial parasites. Example: Viscum and Loranthus are partial stem parasites. Santalum, sandalwood, is a partial root parasite. The parasitic plants produce the hostorial roots inside the host plant to absorb the nutrients from the vascular tissues of host plants. Here in this image you can see the holoparasite, which is a total stem and root parasite, Cuscuta. On the right side you can see how it winds around the host plant. When you take a section and see, you can see the parasitic plant Cuscuta produces lot of roots inside the host plant called the hostoria, which absorbs the nutrition and water through the xylem and the phloem. Below you can see on the left side a image. It is a partial stem parasite, the Viscum, with the flower and the hostorial roots entering the host. On the right side you can see a root parasite on the brinjal root, Orobanchi species, which absorbs the nutrients and water from the roots of the brinjal plant. What is competition? It is an interaction between two organisms or species in which both the organisms or species are harmed. Competition is the severest in population that has irregular distribution. Competition is classified into intraspecific competition and interspecific competition. Intraspecific competition is an interaction between individuals of the same species. This competition is very severe because all the members of the species have similar requirements of food, habitat, pollination, etc. and they also have similar adaptations to fulfill their needs. Intraspecific competition among herbaceous plants, the competition in a forest can be as intense as competition on a coral reef. It takes place mostly underground for the absorption of water and the nutrients. Interspecific competition is an interaction between the individuals of different species. In grasslands, many species of grasses grow well as there is little competition when enough nutrients and water is available. During drought, shortage of water occurs. A life and death competition starts among the different species of grasslands. Here in this image you can see on the left side a flourishing green grassland where abundant amount of water and nutrients are available. When there is drought, very sparse amount of grass grows because of the competition for water and nutrients. Survival in both these competitions is determined by the quantity of the nutrients, availability of water, and migration to new areas. Different species of herbivores, larvae, and grasshopper competing for food or forage plants is also another example. Trees, shrubs, and herbs in a forest struggle for sunlight, water, and nutrients, and also for pollination, and also for dispersal of fruits and seeds. Here in this image you can see the Articularia bladderwort, which competes with tiny fishes for small crustaceans and insects. On the image on the right side you can see the bladder having the small prey. The swollen bladderwort, if you examine, you can see that it has a non-sensitive antennae and a trigger levers and a door hinge. The trigger levers on stimulation opens up the door hinge and the larvae can enter into the bladder, and the bladder has ion transporting glands and quadrific glands for the digestion of these insects. Amensalism. It is an interspecific interaction in which one species is inhibited while the other species is neither benefited nor harmed. The inhibition is achieved by the secretion of certain chemicals called allelopathic substances. Amensalism is also called antibiosis. So penicillin notatum produces an antibiotic compound called penicillin which inhibits the growth of many species of bacteria. In this picture, you can see it's Staphylococcus aureus by interfering with the normal formation of the peptidoglycan in the cell wall. In this image, you can see the penicillin notatum growing and it inhibits the growth of the Staphylococcus in the petri dish. Here in this image, you can see the trichoderma which inhibits the growth of the fungus Aspergillus. In the first image A, you can see the flourishing growth of Aspergillus. Slowly as the trichoderma grows, that destroys the growth of Aspergillus. In the final petri dish E, you can see that there is no Aspergillus, only the trichoderma species is present. Roots and hulls of black walnut, Juglans nigra, secretes an alkaloid, junglone, inhibits the growth of seedlings of apple, tomato and alfalfa around it. In the image on the right side, you can see that the junglone is produced by the exudation from the roots, released from decomposing sloughed roots, released from the decomposing leaves, fruits and twigs, and this junglone produced from the walnut tree roots inhibits the growth of the trees or plants around it. Now to sum up, let us discuss the table, the interaction type, the combination, the effects and the examples. Positive interaction, mutualism, plus plus, both species are benefited. Example, lichen and mycorrhiza, etc. Commensalism, plus and zero. One species is benefited and the other species neither benefited nor harmed. Example, orchids and lianas, etc. Negative interaction, predation, plus minus. One species benefited, the other species is harmed. Example, Drosera, Nepenthes, etc. Parasitism, plus minus. One species is benefited, the other species are harmed. Cuscuta, Duranta, Viscum, etc. Competition, minus minus, harmful for both grassland species. Amensalism, minus 0, harmful for one, but the other species are unaffected. Example, Penicillium and Staphylococcus. What is interspecific interactions or co-evolutionary dynamics? Mimicry. It is a phenomenon in which the living organism modifies its form, appearance, structure or behavior and looks like another living organism as a self-defense mechanism and increases the chance of their survival. Floral mimicry is for usually inviting pollinators, but animal mimicry is often protective. Mimicry is a result of evolutionary significance due to shape and sudden heritable mutation and preservation of natural selection. Example, the ophrys, an orchid, the flower looks like a female insect to attract the male insect to get pollinated by the male insect, otherwise called floral mimicry. You can see the plant of ophrys and the flowers looking like the female insect to attract the male insect. Caroseum morosus, it is a stick insect or walking stick, it's a protective mimicry. Phyllium frondosum, it's a leaf insect, another example of protective mimicry. In the image in A, you can see the Phyllium frondosum, which is a mimicry, and in image B, you can see Caroseum morosus. Myrmecophily. Sometimes ants take the shelter on some trees such as mango, lychee, jamun, acacia, etc. These ants act as bodyguards for the plants against any disturbing agent, and the plants in turn provide food and shelter to these ants. This phenomenon is known as myrmecophily. Example, acacia and acacia ants. You can see the ants on the plant. Co-evolution. The interaction between organisms, when continues for generation, involves reciprocal changes in genetic and morphological characters of both organisms. This type of evolution is called co-evolution. It is a kind of co-adaptation and mutual change among interactive species. Examples, the corolla length and proboscis length of butterflies and moths. In the image below, you can see the butterfly on the flower using the proboscis to get its nectar. On the right side, you can see Habernaria plant and the moth. Bird's beak shape and the flower shape and size, it is also an example of co-evolution. More examples, hornbills and birds of scrub jungles. You can see the image on the lower left and the middle. Slit says of Pollinia Apocyanaceae members and leg says of insects. You can see the image on the right last. Chiromone, released from Pieris rape caterpillar exposed to wild radish, gets the capacity to transmit defense-induced predator to progeny of wild radish. So today in Principles of Ecology Part 3, we discussed about the biotic factors, which is an important ecological factor. So thank you. Kindly subscribe, like, share and comment the channel Read Med Prep Academy. Log on to www.readmedprepacademy.com for MCQs. Our Facebook ID is Read Med Prep Academy. Our email is readmedprepacademy@gmail.com. Our Instagram is Read Med Prep Academy. Kindly post your questions in the comment box. We will reply with appropriate answers. Thank you very much.